are participating in community choice aggregation, 25 of which actually passed local laws, which means there are another 5 that could participate tomorrow if they wanted to. That's my volunteer job. And we have been hired, my full-time job is as CEO of Joule Assets, which is a for-profit organization set up to fill in the gaps in the energy efficiency and resilience markets. And we have been hired by NYSERDA to, in fact, prepare much of that prep package that you're talking about. And so we are absolutely happy to get you stuff early and often as you feel the need for additional resources with respect to setting up your community choice aggregator. And that was a great overview because it gave you a sense of some of the options. And so I want to underscore, basically your electricity bill is 2 bills. It's the electrons and it's the poles and wires. Now people call you up and ask you to buy electrons from them. All sorts of folks competitively are calling you up and asking you basically, come to me, buy electrons. That does nothing to your poles and wires. And that's the same thing as community choice aggregation. Your poles and wires remains exactly as it is. It is the competitive supply, the actual electrons, where the municipality can designate who that supplier is for those electrons. Now, people say, well, this is government control. In fact, it is not government control any more than it is currently, because currently the state has designated who your default supplier is of the electrons. Currently, the state tells you that the regulated utility, if you don't say anything or do anything, is going to be your default supplier. And the difference with community choice aggregation is that that decision is local. So I'm going to take you through just basically what it is that we did. I'd say that we envisioned, then we asked for authority to do what it is that we envisioned, we communicated, and then we set up what I am quite psyched to say is an innovative contract, which I'll describe some of the features of, and then ultimately I'll describe how it is that we aim to replicate throughout the state, throughout the region, throughout the state. And it's really helpful to think through some of the models that Jessica was exploring, because what we're creating is what we hope is a hybrid 4th model. And so it's really neat what Jessica is describing as the first 3, and I'll describe the 4th that we intend to create. So first of all, envisioning, Sustainable Westchester went through a process where we've seen what's going on in these other 6 states. Actually, I don't count Rhode Island, and it's really interesting. It would be fun to see whether Rhode Island is really, and it would be fun. It isn't. It really isn't.
No, because they chose the opt-in model. So
yeah, it's just weird. It's not a CCA. But nonetheless, some people say Rhode Island has a CCA capability. I'm not buying it. So what we did is we wrote legislation, but that legislation was specifically for Westchester County. And as a matter of fact, we were talking with you guys early about how do we extend that legislation statewide. We got that legislation passed. The governor vetoed that legislation because the governor said that the state as a whole should have access to community choice aggregation. So what it is that we did is we petitioned the Public Service Commission to allow us to do community choice aggregation. Right here, Steve Filler was critical in helping us write that petition to the Public Service Commission. And a key message here is with REV, you can envision what it is that you want to create, and then you can go create it. And that's really unique in the state at this time, and the country as a whole is watching this REV process. It's slightly chaotic, but it is organized and empowering chaos, such that it's like a river flowing downhill. You don't know how the water's going to get there, but you know where the water's going to go. And so the REV process is an empowering process And what we did was we simply wrote how it is we wanted to do the community choice aggregation. We submitted it to the Public Service Commission, and on February 26th of last year, the Public Service Commission granted us the ability to create the community choice aggregation in Westchester County.